Welcome to your first look at the studio scale ALIEN NARCISSUS. This is a refit from a body that was cast directly on the filming miniature made for Aliens. I have several build blogs on this project giving you a rundown of all the changes I've made from the original hull. What you're looking at right here is the standard exterior only version of this model. The body is 2 feet wide. This is a beast of a model, and lengthwise is 32 inches, so it's over 2.5 feet long from the nose. Let's pop this nose on real quick. So from the nose to the edge of this rear wedge assembly, about 32 inches. So boy, you better get ready to have some room on this or have some wall space to mount this. And I guess I'll start here with this nose. So this nose is 9 total parts. So we've got the main piece. We have these 2 tubes that are designed to just slide right into these holes. So I noticed in some of the builds I've been seeing lately, they've got lights inside these tubes. So really easy to drill into this, get an LED glued in there, get your LED through the center of that, pop these 2 tubes in. Your wires will run through the hole inside. This detail piece lives right here at the front of that opening. This piece lives on the shallow end of this. This guy here, 8 rad piece with some extra greeblies, lives here at the top. There is another 8 rad part. This is a 3D printed part. It's 3D printed front and back. That is hard to see, but there you go. There's your little 8 rad piece. Where that's going to live is here at the end of that. And then you've got 2 tiny little guys that live up here towards the hull. I did a test assembly on this a few days ago, so here's what one of these looks like fully assembled. Look at that insane detail. These parts are cast in a pressure pot, so every single little detail comes through. Each kit comes with a set of water slide decals. There's just a myriad of details. Highly accurate. Really tiny, so you're going to have to get a magnifying glass out and cut each individual one out with an X-Acto knife and kind of like get all these details in place. But you can see the World War II logo, the Miss Piggy. I mean, like, all these details are here. Water slide decals. The body is hollow cast. I would say that this weighs maybe 5 pounds. Between 5 and 6 pounds. This is the exterior only version, so the front hull face is cast and it's one piece into the entire body. When we go ahead and take a look at the deluxe version, you'll see that that comes as a separate pop-on piece. So the whole, just real quick, I can show you some of these details. This is a medallion that lives right there. We have 2 docking clamps, and those both live on the sides, like so. Canopy windows. These are laser cut. I laser cut them a bit proud, so you may need to do a little bit of trimming to get these to get exactly fit. They're cut proud for the exterior version, in case you wanted to pressure fit these inside of the frames, to the sides of the frames. But anyways, here are your laser cut parts. This is the window that goes on the back. The wedge assembly comes back here. Fits just like this. I made a couple of cap plates, laser cut cap pieces to fill the gaps. Boy, sorry for the sloppy camera work. It's hard to see this. So these wedge pieces will come in here and fill those gaps. And what else are we looking at back here? The engine nozzles These nozzle inset pieces are cast in translucent resin in case you wanted to throw an LED inside here and backlight that. I designed these to fit right in place inside each of these, and of course they live right here at the back of each of these. Look at the detail on these. Beautiful. 4 of these chippy guys that live inside of here. I think they're oriented like that, and then this goes kind of on top of it. It's just a little bit of something extra to look at inside there. Let's see, when this is in place, you've got these vector thrusters. They live right here. These get trimmed down a tiny bit, and here's your nozzles for this. So this will actually almost get trimmed flush to the body, and then this nozzle will replace that cylinder. The kit includes 6 laser cut end strips. So the seam line on this model runs across this edge. So just a real quick sand with an orbital sander, and those edges are completely gone. The seam line's completely gone. Then you've got these laser cut pieces that will fit across the edges. So there's 3 pieces for each side. This guy goes here at the end. The middle-sized one lives here on this edge, and then your largest one lives on this edge. These are perfectly laser cut each time. This is the 3D printed Xeno figure that's in scale with this ship. So he's his main body, his tail. But just let me pause for a second. I don't think I've committed this to video yet, but you can see the insane amount of detail on this figure. Detailed as the original big chap from the first Alien movie. And this was going to be an add-on piece, like an extra cost piece, but I'm just throwing it in with the kit. So just the standard regular kit will include this Xeno guy. So the plan is, if you decided to, you could stick a thin gauge wire, make a couple of extra pieces to make a little harpoon shape, and just kind of lead it out of that window there. I'm pretty sure that's where that cable is coming through, and you can have them kind of trailing off back here if you wanted to. I know it's kind of silly. It's a cool detail. So anyways, he's included free with each kit. Let's go ahead and flip this girl over so we can take a look at the underside. Here is a look at the underhull, and let me show you how these 4 pieces fit in. So you'll take these 2 guys. These are both laser cut pieces, and you could flex these arms a tiny bit. They're going to live right here. And the cowling, this might need to be trimmed a tiny bit. Just kind of like angle this little cutout right here. Just angle it a tiny touch so it kind of fits a little more flush. But that's the idea, like that. But it's not going to stay there without glue. So anyways, you get the idea that lives there. The next cowling, the next detail piece. So that fills in that detail really nicely. On these pieces, on the undersides of these engine housings, are these detail chips. There's 2 each. These go about there, and these live right in front of him. And then finally, detailing here, here, and here are these fins. So 1 and 2, those fins, and then there's one last fin. He's 3 pieces. He's this detailed part, and it's flat on the inside. That inside flat area receives these 2 chips. So 1 and 2, about like this, and then they live back here. Let me just do this real quick. I'm going to put this guy kind of loosely in position, something like this, and then this guy, actually this is upside down, much better, and then this guy here lives back here like this, I think angled like so. And that's all the parts for this Narcissus exterior standard version. Now let's take a look at the deluxe exterior plus interior version. In comparison, here is the deluxe exterior plus interior version. You're going to see the biggest difference in the body. Let me get into that after I show you the interior parts. So the interior is all these console pieces. They all kind of line up according to my photos. So front console, rear console, side walls, the overhead brick. The interior version also includes this guy. This is the replacement mechanical pit that goes under the hole. This is an option. What you would need to do is Dremel out the original pit and just pop this guy in from inside. As you can see, there's lots of space in here. But anyway, back to the cockpit. So it's these resin parts, it's sidewalls, it's your base plate, and it's hard to tell because it's not primered yet. Let's see if I can hold this up to the light so you can see. But it's hard to see with this light. But this is etched. There's like etched panels on that. So that's your floor, your walls, your front panel. So I have a mock-up of that. This is my original FDM print. This isn't the final version. This is kind of like my first version. The other one, the new one that ships with the kit is longer and everything fits. But this is just to give you an idea that this is going to nest right inside here. The interior includes these chairs. These are 3D printed each time. There's no seam lines to clean up. Couple of chairs. That is going to be a really neat addition to this kit. Your front plate, top hole, just nests here. You can't do it with one hand, but you get the idea that that lives in position here. And you'll need to trim this edge to get it to fit. You might have to do a little bit of trimming on this. You'll have to trim these corners. You'll have to trim these edges pretty flat so that it meets up with that flat edge. You'll have to trim this a tiny bit so that this just pops right on there nice and flush. This is cast in fiberglass, and these canopies will need to get knocked out. I made it really easy for you to knock those out. They're cast very thinly veiled. Barely anything on those windows. So those are super, super easy to knock out with a Dremel, a little bit of filing, and you're done. Your canopy windows, these are covered front and back with protective tape. Just peel those guys off and they're clear windows. And let's talk about lighting for a second. Since this cockpit is a drop-in piece, you'll be able to light this with fiber optics, backlit LEDs, however you want to handle that. You'll be able to access the interior engine lights. If you want to light up those nozzles, just access from inside here. Lots of space. There's just cavernous in here. Since you have access inside to light those engines, you could light up these separate nozzle pieces, these inset guys. You would probably put an LED through here so that they're popping out of the back. You would Dremel a hole into this for that light to come through, and then maybe Dremel a hole into this and backlight that clear engine piece. And that wraps up our quick look, our quick introduction to the studio scale Alien Narcissus. I'll have a video tutorial up for this sometime in January, so make sure that you hit subscribe to be notified when that goes live. This is available now. I'll leave a link in the description, and I hope you enjoyed this first look. Thanks for watching.